Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to my lecturer and my fellow friends. Today, we will discuss about the past year about example of various of communication. First, I will define about the communication. Communication is an information technologies have transformed how we communicate in organization. Yet, we may still be at the beginning of this revolution. Wire cablegram and telephone, introduced a century ago, are giving way to email, instant messaging, and virtual reality social networking. Each of these inventions creates fascinating change in how people communicate with each other in the workplace, as well as new opportunities to improve organizational effectiveness and employee well-being. Communication refers to the process by which information is transmitted and understood between two or more people. We emphasize the word understood because transmitting the sender's intended meaning is the essence of good communication. Communication is the vehicle through which people clarify their expectation and coordinate work, which allows them to achieve organizational objectives more efficiently and effectively. Next, for the barriers of communication, I will pass to my friends to explain the barriers of communication.
One barrier is the imperfect perceptual process of both sender and receiver. As receiver, we don't listen as well as senders assume we do, and our needs and expectations influence what signals get noticed and ignored. We aren't any better as senders either. Some studies suggest that we have difficulty stepping out of our own perspective and stepping into the perspective of others. So we overestimate how well other people understand the message we are communicating. In order to understand perception's effect on communication, it helps to understand how individuals try and make sense of their judgment. The attribution theory helps give reasoning or cause for an action by assigning explanation to event. For example, Nicholas believed that the last salesperson was fired due to not keeping up with their sales reports. His perception is that the person had a lazy personality. He felt that the salesperson must have been fired due to laziness. Actually, the sales rep was going through a divorce and that became depressed. It was a challenge to keep up with the reports. The attribution theory is to an easy way for people to come up with reason that they perceive is the correct implication that cause an event.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I, Muhammad Nuruddin bin Amir Hamzah, will posit the next barrier of communication, which is filtering. Even if the perceptual process is well tuned, messages sometimes get filtered on their way up or down the corporate hierarchy. Filtering may involve deleting or delaying negative information or use less hard work so that the message sounds more verbal. Filtering is the most common in organizations that reward employees who communicate mainly positive information and among employees who have strong career mobility aspirations. The filters are not only mental or physically, but they can also be cultural. For example, an American see the world differently from an Indian because of the culture filter. Language itself acts as a filter because each language forces its user to view the world differently. A filter can sometimes be so powerful that it blocks or prevents communication together. The filter then turns into a barrier. After that is language. Language difference represents a third source of communication noise. But even if two people speak the same language, they might have different meaning for particular words and phrase. Jargon is a technical language and economic as well as recognized word with a specialized meaning in specific organization or social group. Ambiguity is a word or phrase that can create confusion. For example, can you close the door? You might assume the sender is asking whether shutting door is permitted. This is about you interpret the word.
Lastly is information overload. Information overload is a condition in which the volume of information received exceeds a person's capacity to get through it. It will create noise in communication system because information gets overlooked or misinterpreted when people can process it fast. Information overload problems can be minimized by increasing our information processing capacity, reducing the job information load, or doing a combination of both. Information load can be reducing by buffering, formatting, and summarizing. Buffering involves having incoming communication filtered, and omitting occurs when we decide to overlook messages, such as using software rules to redirect emails from distribution list to folder that we never look at. An example of summarizing is reading executive summarize rather than the full reports. So, for the conclusion, communication is an important instrument for organizational learning and decision making. Effective communication minimizes silos of knowledge, the situation in which knowledge is fostered or hoarded rather than distributed to others throughout the organization. Communication also aids employee well-being. Communication from co-workers help employees manage their work environment, telling them, for instance, how to complete work procedures correctly or handle difficult customers.